All right. Now we are on our health segment. And I don't know why, but for the past few weeks, I've just been seeing so many cute, chubby babies everywhere. You know, the type that is like their arms are like Michelin tire, you know. I don't know. They're just so cute and cuddly. I'm not taking the bug. No, not me, not now. But there is a point it gets to that sometimes some health professionals say the weight gets to be unhealthy weight. So today we are going to talk to Dr. Renner. He is also known as the noisy pediatrician based on his social media content that he's been creating for quite a few years now. Now he is in pediatric healthcare and he is a renowned consultant pediatrician for a leading advocate for child and the leading advocate for child health in Nigeria. Now I can't wait for this conversation to begin because he's even put together some tech-based solutions. Today, we're talking about how we can help kids gain healthy weight. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Titi.
You didn't come with your...
I didn't come with my megaphone.
Your megaphone
I
today.
didn't. So
Wow.
my megaphone is not smiling. The megaphone was like, you know what? If you're not going to pay me, I'm not going to appear on your show.
Okay, all right, no problem. We'll sort that out another time.
Yes.
But the megaphone is up today because we need to talk to parents about their baby's health.
Yes. So, I mean, I guess weight gain, I think, for a lot of parents and wives is the way in which they can actually show society that they are taking care of their children and husbands. If your husband doesn't gain weight in the marriage, then are you really working in that marriage? So, so kids actually are supposed to gain weight. That is one of the only ways in which we know that they are actually growing. And so weight gain is absolutely amazing. But at what point do we know that weight gain isn't the healthiest thing? That weight of that child has gone from the normal, regular weight gain to something that has moved into overweight or obesity.
Okay, so for adults, you look at the BMI, some body mass index.
Yes.
So is there a BMI for children?
Yes, so we also measure BMI for children as well, starting from the age of 2 years.
Okay.
But before 2 years, we kind of use things like the weight for length, because we expect that for a child below 2 years, who is a certain length,
Okay.
they should have a certain weight. And if their weight for that length is more than what it should be, then we raise a red flag to say this child is actually heavier than it should be. From 2 years, we do the BMI, but the BMI is not without its drawbacks, because a person's weight is composed of fat, muscle, and bone.
Yeah.
And a BMI just makes use of all those things. And we're happy to have a person have a lot of their weight be muscle or bone, but not so much fat. So how do you know if you've measured a person's weight using the BMI that weight is not just, is majorly fat or majorly muscle? So while the BMI is fine, it gives us some kind of idea, but right now I'm trying to move towards other parameters for measuring how heavy a
Okay,
person
so now I'm a new parent now, and my child looks healthy.
Yeah.
You know, in my eyes. But I've seen some parents and children having the same size plates of food, for instance. Where do we go from, maybe let's say age 2? How do you start making sure that the child is gaining healthy weight and growing more muscle and less fat?
Okay, so in terms of, portion size, it's a really difficult thing to deprive a child of what his portion size should be. On the flip side, one should really not force a child to eat more than what their capacity is. And so if they've eaten half the plate, then don't force them to, clear their plate, because it makes them develop a sort of like really turbulent relationship with food and meal times, and they begin to avoid meal times. Okay. So when it comes to what, how much children should be eating, let the child dictate how much they should be eating.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
The child should dictate?
To dictate. Yes, they should. And then what the parent can now do is that make sure that what it is that you are giving them is comprised of the healthiest food possible. So whole foods, ilala sepo.
Yes.
So whole foods, avoid fast food, avoid refined foods as much as possible. Okay. No high fructose corn syrup, no refined sugar. Make sure that it's, more fruits, more vegetables, okay. And then let protein and, really, really organic carbohydrates be the majority of the meals.
Okay, so we have to come back now.
Yes.
Because I feel like the healthy weight sort of has to comprise of certain food groups,
Yes.
right? And those food groups are not always so readily available to the
Or
average
cheap.
parent or affordable.
Or affordable. Yes. So what I'd say is that when you're talking about healthy eating and healthy weight gain, I know that there are a lot of things I want to do for quick meals, certain things that are rather instant, rather quick.
Yeah.
Those aren't really the best things to actually do. So meal prepping is very important, and then trying to create the environment where children know what to expect by making a sort of timetable, whereby they know what to expect at every day of the week, and then rotating that every 3 months might actually be a useful way of making sure that you're planning how to provide, healthy meals. Protein of high biological value is really important, and we're talking about eggs, dairy, meat, fish,
Okay.
beans. Beans aren't the greatest for high biological value for protein because they create a lot of what we call nitrogenous waste, such that there are more of carbs than protein, and then the little protein that they actually are able to get from them ends up coming out the other direction.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know we're sort of leaning on the nutritional side of things. Now I want to come back to the medical side of things and noticing. So what are the disadvantages of the unhealthy weight gain for a child?
Okay.
We know that childhood obesity has become a thing in recent times.
It has. It is really what we would describe as an epidemic, and it's gradually becoming more and more rampant, as the middle class is actually growing, advancing and becoming more prominent. The disadvantage of, and I was going to mention that right now, the waist circumference is what a lot of researchers are advocating to.
The waist?
The waist circumference, yes, for
So
children.
that's from the belly button round?
Yes, from the belly button round. Yes, is what was an increased waist circumference is a predictor of certain health conditions, including diabetes. And for children who are obese, they can actually have certain joint problems. They can actually have certain joints slip out of their positions, and then they can have what we call insulin resistance, whereby their bodies aren't simply able to use the sugar that they consume, and then the sugar goes into other organs. And the more fat a person has, there actually is a tendency that they will gain more fat. The body just wants to save the fat for a rainy day. And of course, there's a psychological aspect of things, which of course has a medical implication, especially for teens, where the beauty standards these days require that a person be like wafer thin. And so they get teased by classmates, they get teased, by people who actually say, oh, you're fat, And children can be cruel, actually. So these things actually all combine and come together to form a potpourri of very unfortunate,
So the unhealthy eating for children. Okay, so for adults, we've associated unhealthy weight gain to some mental issues. Can the same be said about children?
Yes, the same can be said about children, especially in the context where children will interact with each other and say very hurtful things to each other for people who are, a bit on the big side. And so in that regard, that can happen. And some children might actually resort to even eating more.
Okay.
To just give themselves that, sort of comfort to say, okay, you know what, I might as well just,
So them
binge.
demanding chocolate, demanding ice cream, demanding, sugary things might actually be something they're using as comfort food?
Yes, it's
not just the greed or want of those sugary foods.
So age-wise, it really does depend. So sometimes, for the teens, I would say that some of them might actually be demanding those foods and having those foods simply because they're trying to find comfort from some sort of stressful situation. And the teenage years are stressful. The hormones alone are stressful, But for the younger kids, it's a taste thing. So they've acquired a taste for those sorts of things, and they demand them because they simply like them. And sometimes it's just easier, for parents to just let them have it so that they can have their peace of mind.
So that is a conversation for another day, learning to say no to our kids when they make demands on some certain foods. Oh, well, to a certain extent. Sometimes you just want them to smile, right?
Yeah, yes. And that's totally allowed. As a matter of fact, I think when it comes to sugar, we aren't all like children should absolutely have no sugar whatsoever. Sugar actually forms part of a regular, varied, balanced diet. It just needs to be done in a moderate way. And what we try to say, because this is maybe the segues a bit into parenting, is that never use sugar as a reward for eating healthy. Let eating healthy be the reward in itself.
Okay. Now, Dr. Renner, we appreciate you every time you come around. Thank you so much. We'll be continuing this conversation on social media. Healthy weight gain when it comes to kids and their health. please use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC time.